Nikola Jokic just capped off one of the greatest playoff runs of all time, and it would have been one of the greatest seasons of all time if NBA media didn't get race baited into voting Joel Embiid for MVP.
The implication, what you are implying, that the white voters that vote on NBA are racist, that they favor white people. You just said that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
All right. Let me stop. Even though Nikola Jokic is a better player, Joel Embiid deserved this shit. But that's beside the point. Nikola Jokic averaged 30 points a game, 14 rebounds a game, and 10 assists in the playoffs. And shout out to Jimmy High Roller, but he compared his playoff run to Shaq's, and I'm going to let you make out what you want to make of it. Something that also has to be mentioned is the fashion that they did it in. They didn't need a single Game 7 and handled all of their opponents in one game or less other than one opponent. And that opponent had Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. And shout out to DeAndre Jordan and Ish Smith. Super proud of those guys. Just want to throw that in there. Jokic had the third greatest box plus minus of all time, a stat that allows us to understand a player's impact on the court in terms of the points differential, up there with LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Here are some other crazy things that Jokic did this postseason. He had the most triple-doubles in one postseason. He recorded a 30-20-10 game, and he became the first NBA player in history to record 500 points, 250 rebounds, and 100 assists in a single postseason. He earned the Finals MVP, and I think it's safe to say that he's one of the best players of our generation, and is the best player in the world. And I honestly don't even think it's close right now. But the real question is, where does he rank all time? When it comes to ranking all-time players, we put together a list of 3 things. We compare their accolades, their talent, and their stats. But if you were to ask me how much each of these things weigh when it comes to ranking a guy on the all-time list, I think it looks a little bit like this. I'd say it's about 65-25-10, with 65% being accolades, 25% being stats, and 10% being talent. And I believe that if we were talking strictly about talent, I think Jokic has already cemented himself as the most talented center we've ever seen. Am I crazy for thinking that? I don't know, I might be. But in our NBA, it doesn't matter how talented you are. You have to perform on the NBA court and get things done. So there are about 6 centers that I feel like are all-time greats, and I want to put Jokic in the conversation in. Kareem, Bill Russell, Shaquille O'Neal, Wilt Chamberlain, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Moses Malone. I wanted to put David Robinson in there, but he was never the best player on the championship team, so I let him out of it. Then I took what I think are the 3 most important accolades, All-NBA, MVP, and championships, and I compared it to Jokic. I also want to throw our defense in there too, because being an all-time great center usually comes with elite defense. But it won't be a fault to him too much for my case, because he's an offensive machine and he makes up with it with his playmaking. Plus, he's a big body in the paint, so his defense isn't as horrendous as it's been in the past. He's really improved. But looking at the accolades, Jokic doesn't even compare and or compete. Now here's the good news. These are whole NBA careers. Nikola Jokic is only 28, and this Nuggets team is going nowhere. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, all these dudes are locked in. If we were to pick a way too early favorite, what in the world is stopping us from picking the Nuggets? They ran through the NBA this year. They're essentially bringing everybody back. Why can't they do it again? But going back to the all-time list, let's be a little bit fair. The center position is probably the greatest position of all time. Kareem held the previous all-time leading scoring record. Wilt scored 100 points. Bill Russell has 11 rings. Moses Malone is a 10-time rebounding champ. Shaq is the most dominant and physical force we've ever seen. The competition he's up against is pretty stiff. But is it possible for him to at least jump into the top 5? Right now, I have him at 7, behind the aforementioned guys. Realistically, I think he can jump up. How does he do that though? The first question is, how does his game progress with him as he gets older? Luckily, he doesn't rely on athleticism at all. So I personally think he's still going to be very effective at 35, 36 years old. Am I tripping for thinking like that? Let me know what you think in the comments. But with the 2 MVPs under his belt, I think he's done enough when it comes to that end of the spectrum. No reason at all should he not make an All-NBA team at least for the next 5, 6, 7 years. But the biggest thing, in the past 5 years, we had 5 different teams go on to win the championship. Even though, in my opinion, the Nuggets are probably the way too early favorites for free agency, nothing is certain in our NBA. But a realistic standpoint, he's able to win at least 1 or 2. 1 or 2, I think that's all he needs. I think he definitely passes Hakeem and Moses. But then we need to start having a conversation on if he passes Shaq. But I think that's where he peaks out, and I don't think he's going to be able to pass Kareem, Bill Russell, or Wilt. A lot of people like to discredit Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain because of the competition that they played against. But I personally don't think that's a valid argument when you're ranking players. But at the same time, I don't get mad when you put guys like Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain a little bit lower on rankings list. I respect it because it is true. They weren't playing nobody. So I really don't disrespect it. But to me, I think the highest he can get is past Shaq. He will be at 4 for me. Now Kareem, I don't think anybody will ever surpass him as the best center of all time. I mean, 6 MVPs, second time all leading scorer, 11 all defensive teams. Kareem is untouchable. He's up there with LeBron and MJ. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on the topic. How high do you think Jokic can reach on the all-time center list? Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, turn on post notifications. We're growing the community. We just hit 100 subscribers. We're on the road to, I want to say 1,000, but I'm going to slow myself down a little bit. We're on the road to 500. I'm not stopping. We're going to keep grinding. We're going to keep growing. We're going to be in the description if you want to hit me up. Feel free to on Twitter, anything like that. But like I said, thank you so much for watching, man. Peace.